Hello everybody, Mr. Place here with another demo for you, this time on contrast, making your text pop. So what is contrast? Graphic designers, webmasters, photographers, and videographers all use the term and concept in their daily work. So in its simplest form, contrast is the state of being strikingly different, and a shout out to the people at Wikipedia. So let's apply the concept of contrast to text. This text looks good because it's white text on a black background, two contrasting colors that are strikingly different. And this text looks good because it's black text on a white background, again strikingly different. Strikingly different. Whoa, wait, not strikingly different. Let's have a look at this chart. First, we have a background color, and we have the text color known here as the foreground color. Let's look a little closer at red. Horrible contrast. In fact, it's invisible when we have red text on a red background. Next, red foreground text on an orange background, giving us poor contrast. However, when we have red text on a yellow background, we have two colors that are strikingly different, offering us good contrast. Have a look at the rest of this chart and see what colors stand out and pop. We want our posters, splash screens, and text in our videos to stand out so that they are aesthetically pleasing and can be easily read. We already stated that contrast is the state of being strikingly different. Let's take this step further when we use contrast to make text stand out. Like our first definition, contrast occurs when two or more related elements are displayed differently. The key here, the greater the difference, the greater the contrast. So that said, what does this mean for us in video production as it relates to the programs that we use? Let's have a look. Tips for improving contrast for your text and titles and graphics. 1. Reflect and make choices before starting on your project. This means consistency of font, background and text color, and also consistency in the sizes of your text. To maximize contrast, avoid scripted fonts and select bolder fonts to increase contrast. Some scripted fonts may look nice, but it's hard for someone to easily read your text. Offering a bolder font will make the text stand out more. I suggest that before you start your project that you reflect and select a font conducive to your branding and genre that you have selected for your film. Use a credible font website such as dafont.com and install the font on your PC or Mac. Second, use a drop shadow. A drop shadow is simply a contrasting color copy behind your text. Again, the more that the drop shadow color differs from the original text, the more the contrast. So in a practical sense, let's look at Photoshop and how to make a drop shadow. First, select your bold font that you installed. Also, I might as well talk about positioning of your text right now. When people first start out, they tend to want to center their text both vertically and horizontally. Don't. Using the rule of thirds grid, select your text and move it up to the eye line or the top third of the screen. There, looks a lot better. Okay, moving on. Let's get back to that drop shadow. Select your text in the Layers panel and double-click just to the right of the text. A window pops open. At the bottom of the list, you will see Drop Shadow. Select by checking the box. Next, move your mouse to the right of the drop shadow and double-click. You can now freely make changes to your drop shadow. You can experiment with the opacity, angle, distance, spread, and size. Tweak these settings until you are happy. By adding the drop shadow, your text is not only easier to read, but it almost looks like it's floating above the background, offering a bit of depth. This may take a little bit of time to get the settings right the first time, but know that you're on your way. Now, how about adding a drop shadow in Premiere Pro? In editing mode, add your text. At the top of the screen, change Editing to Graphics mode. To the right, click Edit and select the text that you're editing. You can change the size of the text as well as other attributes. Ensure that your text is inside the safe margins. Back to adding a drop shadow. On the side menu, Appearance, check and select Shadow. Like Photoshop, you can change the attributes such as size, angle, opacity, and spread. Tweak these settings until you're happy. A final tip for improving contrast is to make good choices about the placement of your text. I said before the rule was to place your text on the top third of the screen. You can break these rules if it serves a purpose. Have a look. Placing the city on the buildings would be quite messy. So break the rule and place it in an area that's conducive to your background. Hey, we've only scratched the surface here, but you now have the knowledge and skill to make your posters, splash screens, and videos pop. Good luck, and we'll be seeing you soon.